Let me start with a hard truth. No one's coming to save you. Not the government, not your boss, not even your best friend. That's your job, your first job. See, the world teaches us to be selfless, and there's honor in that when it's real. But what's not taught enough is this. True selflessness starts with strength, and strength starts with self. Think about it. You can't carry others if your own back is breaking. You can't inspire anyone if your own fire is out. You can't pour wisdom into someone else's cup if yours is empty and cracked. So I say, think about yourself always, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. Be aware of your time. Are you giving it to things that grow you or things that drain you? Be aware of your energy. Are you waking up with purpose or just waking up? Be aware of your mind. Are you feeding it wisdom or worry? Because here's the catch. Your life is a reflection of what you think you deserve. And if you don't think about yourself, you'll settle for less. Every time. So build yourself like a business. Take notes on your life. Track your progress. Invest in your mind. Guard your time like it's gold, because it is. And if someone says you've changed, smile and say, "Sign, I have. I've started thinking about myself." Because the better you become, the better you can serve. The more you have, the more you can give. The stronger you are, the more people you can lift. But none of that happens if you ignore the person in the mirror. So remember this. Your life, your habits, your future, they're all waiting on one thing. You. You are the foundation of everything you build. That's not just philosophy. That's structure. That's blueprint. That's reality. Just like a house can't stand on sand, your goals, your relationships, your finances, none of it lasts if tight you are shaky at the base. People spend years chasing success, chasing recognition, chasing happiness. But here's the part most miss. You don't chase it. You build it. And the first brick you lay is in you. Your discipline, your habits, your attitude, your values. That's the real concrete. If you want a better job, become a better worker. Want a better relationship? Become a better partner. Want more income? Become more valuable. Not louder, not busier, better. Because everything you touch gets shaped by who you are. Life doesn't respond to what you wish. It responds to who you are. That's why personal development isn't optional. It's essential. Because whatever you're building, wealth, peace, influence, freedom, it only rises as far as you've grown. If the foundation is weak, the storm will come and wipe it out. But if the foundation is solid, anchored in discipline, character, self-respect, then the storm just becomes another story in your journey. So when you work on yourself, you're not being selfish. You're being unsmart, because everything else stands on new. And when you're strong, the rest can rise. Selfishness is not evil. If it means self-respect, self-care, and self-leadership, now that might sound strange at first. We've been taught since childhood to share, to give, to put others first. And there's truth in that. But there's also a dangerous misunderstanding wrapped in it. Because when you give everything to everyone and leave nothing for yourself, you don't look noble. You look tight empty. You're not helping the world when you're running on fumes. Let's define it clearly. There's a kind of selfishness that destroys. It takes without thinking. It demands without giving. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is intentional living, a kind of selfishness that says, I matter too. See, when you respect yourself, you don't let people walk all over you. You set boundaries, not because you're hard, but because you're clear. You say no, not because you're rude, but because you know your limits. That's not ego. That's wisdom. Self-respect is not about thinking you're better than someone else. It's about realizing you don't need to be less than anyone to be loved, accepted, or seen. It's about holding your own space and saying, I don't have to shrink to make others comfortable. And then there's self-care. That's not just spa days and green smoothies. It's sleep. It's saying I won't sacrifice my peace for someone else's approval. It's taking a walk when your mind's too noisy. It's closing the laptop when your body says enough. Because if you fall apart, who benefits from that? Then there's the big one, self-leadership. That's what really separates the good from the great. Self-leadership means you don't wait for motivation to show up. You create it. You don't wait to be told what to do. You take initiative. You don't blame the world. You ask, what can NG do differently? When you lead yourself well, others trust you more. Not because you're loud or flashy, but because you're stable, reliable. You walk your talk. You're the kind of person who shows up, first for yourself, then for others. And let's be honest, if you can't lead yourself, how can you lead a family, a business, a team, a vision? You can't give direction to others when you're lost inside. So no, this kind of selfishness isn't evil. In fact, it's essential. Because the world doesn't need more martyrs. It needs more toll people. People who are so well taken care of on the inside, they can show up strong on the outside. Start with self-respect, practice self-care, grow into self-leadership. It's not about putting yourself above others. It's about making sure you're in a position to actually serve them. And that begins by thinking of yourself, not last, but first. Because when you're full, balanced, and clear, you become a force that others can count on. And that's not selfish. That's smart. Don't pour from an empty cup. You've probably heard that before, maybe even said it yourself. But let's slow it down and really understand what it means. Because it's not just a clever saying, it's a principle that governs health, relationships, leadership, and success. It's simple. Simple. Can't give what you don't have. If your cup is empty, physically, mentally, emotionally, what exactly do you think you're offering people? Fragments, leftovers, stress disguised as service? That's not generosity. That's a slow leak. And if you keep doing that long enough, you don't just get tired, you disappear. People run themselves into the ground trying to prove they're helpful, dependable, always there. And yes, there's value in being reliable, but not at the cost of your own douse and well-being. If your energy is gone, your creativity is gone. If your peace is gone, your patience is gone. If your health is gone, everything's gone. There's a strange belief that putting yourself last is some kind of virtue. It's not. It's a setup. Because the truth is, you're not being noble by burning out. You're being reckless. Imagine a pilot refusing to check their own oxygen mask before helping passengers. That's not selflessness. That's poor judgment. You've got to fill your cup first. That means rest is not a reward. It's a requirement. Time for yourself isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're responsible. You recharge not so you can run away from life, but so you can return to it stronger. And don't misunderstand, this isn't about becoming self-absorbed. It's about becoming self-aware, knowing when you're at your best, noticing when you're not, and being mature enough to step back when needed. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is I need a moment, not forever, just a moment. A pause to breathe, a walk to clear your head, a good night's sleep, a day without noise. Because when you come back full. And when you're full, you can pour freely, without resentment, without fatigue, without collapse. It's amazing how much better life gets when you operate from overflow, not survival. Your conversations are sharper, your work is cleaner, your mood is lighter. Why? Because you're not running on empty. So take care of your mind, fuel your body, guard your energy, and don't apologize for it. You're not wasting time when you rest. You're investing in your return. Because your family, your work, your dreams, they don't need a version of you that's barely holding on. They need the real you, steady, focused, alive. Fill your cup and you'll find that pouring into others isn't a burden, it's a joy. But if you forget that, you'll give until there's nothing left. And the world doesn't benefit from an exhausted you. It needs a whole one. So remember, take care of yourself. Not someday. Now. Take inventory of your habits, thoughts, and choices. That sounds simple, doesn't it? But it's one of the most powerful and most neglected disciplines in life. Because most people are too busy doing to stop and ask why, they're doing it. Wake up, go through the motions, handle what's urgent, and collapse into bed. Never once asking, is this working for me? Is this leading me somewhere I want to go? You wouldn't run a business without taking inventory. You wouldn't own a store and just keep putting items on the shelves without knowing what's selling, what's expired, or what's costing you money. And yet, that's exactly what people do with their lives. Every day, you're thinking certain thoughts. Every day, you're repeating certain habits. Every day, you're making choices, big and small. And those thoughts, habits, and choices are building your life. Whether you realize it or not, they're steering the ship. So the question is, are you checking the map? It starts with your habits. Look closely. What are you doing repeatedly that's either building your future or burying it? Waking up late, scrolling too much, putting off the hard stuff? Or are you reading, moving your body, managing your money, strengthening your focus? Habits are like seeds. They don't look like much at first, but over time they grow into forests or weeds. And here's the thing. What you allow daily becomes what defines you eventually. So take inventory. Ask, is this habit moving me forward or keeping me stuck? Then take a look at your thoughts. What are you telling yourself every day? Are you feeding your mind courage or doubt, faith or fear, possibility or pessimism? Because your mind doesn't just store thoughts, it believes them. And those beliefs shape your actions, which shape your results. You can't plant negative thoughts and expect a positive life. You can't rehearse failure in your mind and expect success to show up at your door. So take inventory. Are your thoughts helping you grow or holding you back? Finally, look at your choices, the small ones and the big ones. What are you saying yes to that you should decline? What are you saying no to that might be the very thing you need? What decisions are you avoiding because they're uncomfortable, even though they'd change your life? Life doesn't change from one big moment. It changes when you start making better decisions more consistently. And that starts with awareness. Taking inventory is not about guilt, it's about clarity. It's about stepping back and saying, this is working, that's not. I'll keep this. I'll fix that. It's about taking responsibility, not in a harsh way, but in an empowering way. Because when you know where you stand, you can choose where to go. But if you never look, if you never pause and evaluate, you'll wake up one day in a place you never meant to be, asking, Saturn, how did I get here? The truth is, you got there one habit, one thought, one choice at a time. So start checking in, not once a year, often. Treat your life like it matters, because it does. Audit your routines, listen to your inner dialogue, challenge your patterns, and don't be afraid to change, because you can't manage what you don't measure, and you can't improve what you don't acknowledge. Take inventory and take control. That's how transformation begins. Your time, your energy, and your focus, those are your greatest currencies. Spend them wisely. Most people think their greatest asset is money. It's not. You can lose money and earn it back. You can waste $1 and find another. But once you spend an hour, it's gone. Once your energy is drained, the day doesn't wait for you to recover. And once your focus is scattered, it takes real effort to get it back. Time, energy, and focus. These are the tools you're using every single day to build your life. They're not visible like dollars in a wallet, but their impact is far greater. How you use them decides what you experience, what you achieve, and what kind of person you become. Let's talk about time. Everyone gets the same 24 hours, but not everyone gets the same return on them. Some people invest their time. They read, they think, they grow. Others spend it reacting, scrolling, complaining, avoiding. So ask yourself, are you investing time or wasting it? Because time doesn't feel urgent until it's almost gone. Then suddenly you realize what you could have done, should have done, meant to do. But by then, all you can do is start fresh, not with regret, but with resolve. Use your time like it matters, because it does. Now let's talk about energy. You only have so much of it each day. And everything costs something. Every conversation, every decision, every distraction. If you're giving your best energy to things that drain you, don't be surprised when you have nothing left for what matters most. Protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. Rest when you need to. Move your body. Fuel it well. Surround yourself with people who add, not subtract. You can't do everything and you're not supposed to. Focus your energy where it counts. Then there's focus, the rarest currency of them all. In today's world, everything is trying to steal it. Notifications, noise, headlines, nonsense. If you don't learn how to direct your focus, someone else will direct it for you. Focus is what turns an hour into progress. Focus is what separates movement from achievement. Don't just be busy, be intentional. Be present in what you're doing. Don't let your attention be sold to the highest bidder. Train your focus like a muscle. It gets sharper with practice. Now here's the real truth. If you master your time, your energy, and your focus, you can do almost anything. You can build something great, you can rebuild what was lost, you can become someone you barely recognize today. But if you give those things away carelessly, don't expect excellence. Don't expect peace. Don't expect fulfillment. So treat your time like it's limited, because it is. Treat your energy like it's sacred, because it is. And treat your focus like it's powerful, because it is. Every day you wake up, you're handed those three currencies again. Not in equal amounts, not forever, but enough. Enough to do something meaningful. Enough to get better. Enough to move forward if you don't choose to. And the good news is, you're the one in charge. No one else can spend those currencies for you. They're yours. So spend them wisely, because how you use them, that's how you build your life. What you tolerate defines your standard. Think higher of yourself. It's easy to say you want a better life, better income, better health, better relationships. But here's the quiet truth most people miss. You don't get what you want, you get what you accept. And the things you allow to stay in your life, those set the tone for everything else. Every time you let something slide that goes against your values, every time you say it's fine, when deep down you know it's not, you're teaching the world how to treat you, not just people, itself. If you tolerate disrespect, you invite more of it. If you tolerate disorganization, chaos becomes your companion. If you tolerate excuses, your dreams shrink down to match your comfort zone, not because you intended it, but because you allowed it. Standards aren't just rules, they're reflections of how much you value yourself. High standards say, "Won't he know my worth?" Low standards whisper, "Maybe I don't deserve better." And over time, you start to live at the level of what you permit, not what you hope for. Look around your life, the habits, the people, the patterns. What have you allowed to hang around too long? A job that drains you? A relationship that belittles you? A routine that robs you of your potential? It's not about blame, it's about awareness. Because once you see it, you can shift it. You can say, "Well, no more." You can raise the bar, not with anger, but with clarity. You're not being harsh. You're being honest about what you need in order to grow. You see, your future doesn't rise to your ambition. It rises to your standard. You can talk all day about what you're going to do, but if your daily choices say otherwise, then your words are empty. Talk doesn't build a better life. Discipline does. Boundaries do. Self-respect does. Thinking higher of yourself doesn't mean arrogance. It means alignment, aligning your actions with your potential. It means looking in the mirror and saying I was made for more than this, and then backing that statement up with new behavior, with a new standard. You're not a doormat. You're not someone to be taken for granted, and you're not a victim of your past decisions. But nothing changes until you raise your standard and refuse to settle for less than you're capable of. And yes, at first, it's uncomfortable. People will push back. Life will test your resolve, but hold your ground. Because the moment you raise your standard is the moment your life begins to shift. Opportunities change, people change, your environment changes. And it all starts with this simple idea: once you are allowed to expect more from yourself, from others, and from life. But you must expect it first. So take a deep breath. Look at what you've been tolerating, then choose again. Choose better. Set a new standard. Because once you raise the bar, everything below it starts to fall away. And what rises to meet you? That's where your true life begins. People will treat you how you treat yourself. Start with your own example. That might sound like a simple idea, but it holds a powerful truth. If you've ever wondered why certain people don't respect your time, your boundaries, or your voice, it's worth asking, how have you been treating yourself? Because people are watching, even when you think they're not. And the way you carry yourself, the way you speak about yourself, the way you show up for your own life, that becomes the blueprint others follow. You see, you teach people how to treat you by the way to treat you. If you're constantly apologizing for who you are, they'll start expecting you to. If you always put your needs last, they'll think that's normal. If you allow yourself to be overlooked, people will walk right past you and never think twice. It begins internally. How do you speak to yourself when no one's around? Do you build yourself up or tear yourself down? Because if your self-talk is full of doubt, guilt, or criticism, don't be surprised when others mirror that same energy. You're setting the tone. And it's not just about words, it's about actions. If you don't respect your time, you'll let everyone else waste it. If you don't take care of your health, others will assume it's not important. If you don't believe in your own value, people will try to discount you, because that's the price you put on yourself. But here's the good news. It's all in your hands. You get to set the standard. You get to model how you want to be treated, by treating yourself that way first. Start showing up on time for your own commitments. Start following through on the promises you make to yourself. Speak kindly about yourself, even in your thoughts. Take care of your body, not as punishment, but as a statement of self-worth. Create space in your life that says, "When I matter too." When you do that, something remarkable happens. People begin to respond differently. They listen when you speak. They respect your boundaries without you having to shout. They treat you with care because they're following the example you set. And if someone refuses to meet that standard, you won't need to argue with them or beg for their respect. You'll already know, this is not for me. Because someone who respects themselves won't keep watering dead plants. They won't keep shrinking to fit into places they've outgrown. Self-respect isn't about being rigid or cold. It's about being clear. Clear about your value, clear about your time, clear about what you allow and what you don't. And when you're clear with yourself, it becomes very easy to be clear with the world. So if you want people to treat you better, don't start by fixing them. Start by raising your own example. Start by becoming the kind of person you would admire. Show the world how to treat you through your habits, your discipline, your kindness, your strength. Because when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you give others permission to do the same. And that's not ego, that's leadership. Quiet, powerful, personal leadership. So start today. Treat yourself the way you want the world to treat you, and watch how everything begins to shift. Every day you get two choices, evolve or repeat. Choose yourself before the world chooses for you. That's the deal life offers. Two simple paths every single morning. You can get up and do the same thing you did yesterday, hoping somehow things get better without change. Or you can step into something new, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's uncertain. That's evolution. That's growth. Now here's the truth most people miss. Not choosing is still a choice. If you don't actively choose to grow, to think differently, to act intentionally, life will choose for you. And it usually doesn't choose kindly. Because when you leave your direction up to circumstance, you end up a passenger in your own life. The pattern is familiar. Wake up, check your phone, rush into a routine, deal with whatever shows up. Repeat, over and over. Not because it's working, but because it's familiar. Because it doesn't ask anything extra of you. But what it costs is extraordinary. It costs you your potential. It costs you progress. It costs you the life you could have had if you chose to evolve. See, the reason evolution is hard is because it demands effort put forward before. Reward. It asks you to stretch before you see the gain. It wants you to take responsibility when it'd be easier to blame. It tells you to move forward, even when the past is easier to fall back into. But let's be honest, repeating is easy until it isn't. Until the job that once felt secure starts to feel like a cage. Until the habits you ignore start stealing your energy, your focus, your freedom. Until one day you wake up not just tired, but died empty, wondering where the years went and why nothing's changed. That's why choosing yourself matters. Not in a selfish way, but in a deliberate way. When you choose yourself, you stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping someone else will come along and fix it. You stop handing your power to people, places, or problems. You say, "This is my life, and I will not live it on autopilot." Choosing yourself means setting goals that reflect your values, not other people's expectations. It means learning something new, even when no one is watching. It means being honest about your habits and brave enough to upgrade them. And it means walking away from anything that doesn't serve your growth, even if it once did. You don't have to take giant leaps every day, but you have to step forward. Even a small step toward evolution is better than 100 days of repetition that lead nowhere. Because here's the secret. When you choose to evolve, life begins to open up. New ideas, new people, new doors. And that momentum, it builds. Every step adds up. But the opposite is also true. Every day you choose to repeat, you reinforce a pattern, and patterns become ruts. And ruts can turn into graves for your dreams, if you let them. So decide now. Not next year. Not next month. Now. Will you evolve or will you repeat? You've got more power than you think. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide that you're worth the effort. That your growth matters more than your comfort. That your future deserves more than your excuses. And remember this, if you don't choose yourself, the world will choose and for you, and it won't always choose your highest good. So don't wait, step up, step in. Make the choice to evolve. Every day, every time, every chance you get, because the life you want is on the other side of the choice you make today.